Hello. So this video is going to be a little bit different because I've gotten actually several questions from people who want to understand the hints in Starstruck, right? So they're trying to solve the hard Starstruck, and this is in the Netflix puzzled app, and they get stuck, get the hint, and they don't even understand the hint. So the best I can do for you, because I can't like summon a hint, is I'm going to play the hard and I'm going to use a hint for every single step, and I will explain the ones that we encounter, and hopefully that will at least help you on some of the hints. And if there are any hints you encounter that in a particular puzzle that was not covered in this video, let me know, and I will try to summon that hint in that puzzle if you can give me the details. All right, well, let's do this one. This is Hexamino Frame from December 18th. The hard. Let's play. All right, so already what I'm seeing, I'm going to go over what I see first, I guess, is that we need a star in the top left corner here because this row and this column need a star, but they're all, this region completely covers both that row and that column. The region can only have one star in it. So if I tried to put a star elsewhere in this row or elsewhere in this column, then like if I put it elsewhere in this row, this column won't have a star, and if I put it elsewhere in this column, this row won't have a star. Once we place the star in this corner, we'll also be able to place a star in the brown here. So we could do those two things, but let's see what the hint has to say. Okay, so the hint isn't even telling us about that yet. I can't read the hint. Oh, this is unfortunate. Okay, so I mean, what this is saying is that no matter where you put a star in green, this cell here cannot have is eliminated. So what it's saying is wherever we put a star in the green area, this cell here, it gets eliminated. So green is going to have a star, and wherever it ends up, this cell here will be eliminated. Let's see what our next hint is. So this is the same thing. So it's just giving us these kinds of eliminations here, where no matter where we put a star in yellow, this cell here is seen. Now that there can't be a star here, any of these other ones in yellow are going to either touch or be in the same row column as this cell here. All right, what's our next hint? Okay, so here it's saying we can X all of these out. The highlighted area needs a star. Okay, so what it's actually saying here, the highlighted area needs a star. You can eliminate from the striped cell. So it's seeing this in an interesting way, but basically it's saying all of these cells are going to use up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, okay. So here's what it's saying, I think, is that this area here has 7 regions in it, and 7 regions for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. So this is kind of a covering argument, and it's going to be using arguments like this a lot, so it's important to understand how this logic is thought about. We can completely cover all 7 of these regions with these 7 rows. So what that means is that those regions will use up all of the stars for those 7 rows. So we can't put any stars in any other region. So it's going to X out all of these. There's a much easier way to see this, which is that there's going to be a star in this top row, and that's going to that sees all of these. But this is I'm specifically going over how to understand these hints. So hopefully that works. And then now the hint should just say there's only one place for a star in column 1, I hope. Yeah. So every other cell in this column has been X'd out. You can place a star. All right, so we place that star. Now we're probably going to see something similar with brown, where it's going to highlight this square and then eliminate from here or eliminate from here. I'm not sure which. Okay, so it actually saw this in a different way. This area takes up the whole column. You can eliminate the striped cells. Okay, so basically what it's saying, I wish I could actually read the hint. It's saying that this column is going to need to place a star in brown, so the rest of brown can be X'd out. I don't know why I didn't use that hint for the blue, but anyway. And so now we should be able to place it in this row because it's the only place in the row for it. Okay. All right, so let me see what, now that we're at this point, let me see what I would do next. Let me see. Something that I would like, if I was stuck here, I would look at something like, what happens if I put a star here? And the reason I'm thinking that is because it sees almost all of red, right? So either if I put a star here, it's going to X out all of red except for this one right here. So placing this star also places this star. And we can see that that actually uses up. I could actually do it, but I'm worried about finishing the puzzle. Here, let's do it. So if I put a star here and star here, this is what I'm seeing in my head. It uses up all of blue except for this one. And so there's this huge cascade. So either it's going to solve the puzzle or it's going to run into a contradiction, and then we can X out that cell. So that's something you can always do. And in pencil puzzles like this, it's really not a bad idea to just sort of explore the puzzle a bit. From here, what I'm seeing is that the green and the gray. So let's actually use the covering logic that the hint would probably use. By the way, I'm going to back up and see what the hints are going to do. But these two rows completely cover both green and gray, meaning that the two stars for those two rows need to end up in green and gray, so that both green and gray end up with a star. So that means this yellow doesn't work. And now we have actually run into a contradiction because we placed the yellow here and there's nowhere to put it in green. So the conclusion we can do from all of that is to say there's not a star here. Now, I've targeted that because I figured it affected the board in a great way, so I'd probably run into a contradiction quickly, or I'd quickly solve the puzzle. But this being X'd out, I'm not sure actually immediately gives us another step. So it's a lot of work for something that's not super helpful. Let's see if I can find anything else that I would explore, or a piece of logic that maybe I can see now. Maybe it has, by doing that, we eliminated a bunch from green. So maybe the green is a key region. These four in green all eliminate this cell. So you'd have to be over here if we had a star here. Almost all of the ones in blue eliminate from this red because these three do, and so does this one. So if we wanted one in this red, we'd have to put one here. Those are the kinds of things I'm seeing. So I'd probably explore those a little bit. Is there a more straightforward piece of logic is, of course, the question. I actually picked a tough one today. I haven't looked at this puzzle yet. So this is a really powerful star because it also places one in. Yeah, okay. So, okay. I think this is the next step then. I can't put a star here because look what happens. If I put, let's see if you can see it in your head before I even place anything. If I put a star here, then look at gray. See, it's nestled in gray, right? So that's why I targeted it. So if I put a star there, look at gray. There's only one place for a star in gray. But now look at yellow. If there's a star here and a star here, there's nowhere in yellow to put a star. So my conclusion is I cannot put a star here. Now let me just show you that visually. If I put a star here, you can see that a star here eliminates all from yellow. So that might be the hint. I'm not sure. So I would eliminate from here. And does that have any immediate effect? In general, this star here places a star here in yellow. That affects green, that affects red. Oh yeah, and that eliminates all from red. So my next step here would be, if I were to try to put a star here in yellow, notice how that eliminates all of red except for this one, but it also forces a star. Sorry, was it the other way around? No, it was the other way around. If I put a star here in gray, you can see it forces a star here in yellow, and now there's nowhere in red to put a star. So that's no good. So I can't put a star here either. So those would probably be my next two steps. Let's actually see what the hint has to say today. All right, so it's actually saying something interesting here. Let me see if I can read it. Placing a star on the striped cells would can eliminate striped cells. Would okay. So it's saying something about the yellow era. So it's saying any star here. It's probably saying would eventually. So let's actually look at what it's seeing here. It's a little bit more advanced than what I was showing, which is that think about if a star was in either of these two cells. This is our kind of pattern where if a star is in one of these two, then it eliminates from here and it eliminates from here. So we're imagining a star is in one of those two. But it also eliminates from here. And now look what happens to gray. Gray has to put a star here, and now there's nowhere to put it in yellow. So it's basically the same thing as what I was just showing. It's just we're doing two at once. So a star here, we showed, puts a star here, and that eliminates from yellow. A star here does the same thing. It sees all three of these. So it puts a star here, and that eliminates from all of yellow. So we can eliminate these two. That's what that hint was saying. So if we look at the hint again, these are the ones we can eliminate. These X's, the striped ones. It's saying if we were to put a star in any of the striped ones, eventually we wouldn't be able to put anything in yellow. And that eventually you're going to have to investigate yourself, but it's a nice little hint. And the eventually has to do with gray. We can see that it has a huge effect on gray here. And so it forces a star right here in gray. And then that's along with the stars over here, one of the stars over here will eliminate everything from yellow. Because this gray on its own eliminates everything except this guy. So we can X those out. Now let's see, what would be our next step then? I still did eliminate from here, but we're not going to use that. Oh, so now all four of these, wherever it is in here, it's going to eliminate from here. That's probably our next hint. Let's check. Yeah, and so it's also pointing out this one too. So this little L formation eliminates from here and here. Okay, so what would be our next step then? I'm seeing that gray and orange have to use these two columns unless gray takes this one. Okay, so I mean, this is logic that I could use. I don't know if the hint's going to use this logic, but working with almosts is really really powerful in this game, in a lot of logic games. So we can say, hey, I can almost, if I were to take these two columns, I can almost cover orange and gray. So one situation is that orange and gray are covered. Like this ends up not being a star. So if this were true, that it's not a star, then I could cover all of gray and orange with two columns, meaning this can't be a star. My only other option is there's a star right here. And if we look, if we put a star right here, this is that really powerful spot where it forces a star here. So a star here forces a star here, and this still can't be in. So what we're looking for is this sort of binary situation where if we take this branch, we do elimination. If we take the other branch, we do the same elimination. So this is never a star for that reason, because it's either eliminated because orange and gray use up these two columns, or because there's a star right here in gray, which puts a star here in yellow, which eliminates from there. So that's not a star. Now, I don't know if that's my next step, but let's see what it has to say. Okay, it's finding something a little bit more interesting, maybe. So it's saying highlighted area needs star. Okay, so this hint wording isn't great, but let's see if we can look what it's actually saying. So it's saying we can eliminate this cell here, and this is the kind of covering strategy that we're talking about. So if we take these three rows, now that we've eliminated from these two, this unlocked this, which is these three rows completely cover blue, red, and orange. And so that means those three rows must donate all three of their stars to blue, red, and orange in some way. So but what you can do to try to find these is just start grouping rows and columns together in your head. And as we group these rows and columns, we're trying to completely eat up the same number of regions. So if we start here, we can see we get blue and orange. Then we move down here, and we're touching the blue, green, red, and orange. And then we get down here, and we're touching the blue, red, and orange. And I finished blue, red, and orange. So I've completely, in these three rows, I completely finished the blue, red, and orange, meaning that this green isn't possible. I can eliminate this green. So now we're down to this L shape. It eliminates from here, which isn't helpful, and from here, which we already found. So what does that get for us? So what we want to do is pay attention to the other three regions, the green, the yellow, and the gray, to see if there's anything else to do with those. They just use up these three rows, so that's not helpful. What would eliminating from here do also? It limited us to this shape. Okay, so maybe we still need what I was talking about earlier, where we can eliminate this one. I'm curious what the next hint is then. It's saying that wherever we put a star in green, we're going to eliminate from these two. So let's see why. This one. Let's do one at a time. Let's do this yellow first. Okay, this is actually not too hard to see. So here's my logic for this yellow. If I place a star in yellow, look what happens to gray. Because this is another one of those almosts, right? This cell here almost sees all of gray. It leaves just one place left. But look at that one place left. It uses up all of our green. So it's almost like a limitation on our covering argument here, where we're not allowed to put a star in both this yellow, these yellows, and these grays, right? Because green is only in these two rows. So green's going to use up one of our star in these two rows. So for the rest of those rows, I only get one star. I get one star between these three yellows and these two grays. And the issue is that if I try to put a star here, it's going to force me to put another star in gray here. And that eliminates all green. So I can eliminate that. Now, the other one that it was talking about was this one, I believe. Yeah, it has to do with blue. Look, it's an almost on blue. So if I put a star here, then I must put a star here in blue. And you can see that this star here actually eliminates almost all of green. And so a star here also eliminates this one, right? A star here forces a star here, and that eliminates all for green. So that's what it's saying, is that if I try to put a star here, it affects blue in such a way that it places a star, and then that eliminates all from green. So I cannot put a star there. And now that I've done that, now that this is just red has to use this row. And so we can eliminate from here and here. And I think that's what the hint's going to tell us. So what it's telling us is wherever we put it in red, we eliminate from here and here by the row, and here just by touching. So we can eliminate all of these. That's exactly what it saw. Let's see, what would be our next step? From here, it should be starting to get pretty straightforward, but we'll see. So I'm seeing these two rows for blue and orange. I'm still seeing these three rows for gray, yellow, and green. Thinking about what we just eliminated can be helpful. We eliminated from here and here and here. Right, so yeah, I guess I just said that. The orange and blue take these two. Red takes one of these three. We do have an almost here that we could investigate. If we place one here, then it must place it in red there. I'm not sure about that one. I think we proved a while ago that this couldn't be a star, but that was a pretty big chain. Right, so okay, it's not that hard to see now that if we put a star here, because we're working with a bunch of almosts, right? If we put a star here, it's going to force a star here in red. And notice that this sees these two. So a star here and a star here, it's eliminating a bunch from blue and a bunch from green. Star here, star here. It's going to place one in blue here. So that eliminates these two from green, and then this star here eliminates these two from green. So this is what I was saying, is a star here forces a star here. Oh, I picked the wrong star, sorry. I saw that wrong in my head. It actually affects yellow. So if we try to see this in our head again, a star here and a star here are going to force a star here. And it's going to force a star over here in green. And that's going to mean nowhere for yellow. So star here, star here, star here. Now, we're either going to put one in green, taking away from yellow, or we're going to put one in yellow, taking away from green. So that cannot be a star. That would probably be my next step. There might be something easier. Let's check what the hint says. All right, so it's actually just saying wherever we put in yellow. Yeah, okay, this is actually much simpler. Wherever we put in yellow, it's going to eliminate from here and here. So that's what it's seeing. Now let's see. That unlocks this row. So the hint would probably just tell us, hey, eliminate from there. We can double check, but yeah, that's exactly what it says. So honestly, paying more attention to the striped cells and the highlighted cells can be more useful than trying to read your hint. But this puzzle's hanging on. I thought we were done. We do have an almost here against orange. I'm not sure if that does. See, the problem is it doesn't really affect other things. A star here does put a star here, which puts a star there. But it doesn't really cascade very well. Right, so we got what I was talking about earlier, where we could eliminate this one, which I never actually did, because we're following the hints. But my next step would be these two columns, cover gray and orange, meaning this can't be a star. Let's see if that's what the hint says. That's exactly what the hint says. So it says highlight areas need a star from other colored regions. So this hint is just telling us, hey, these two columns can cover all of orange and all of gray. So they have to give their stars to orange and gray. So we cannot put a star in red there. Now red is down to 2. And this formation here, wherever it is in red, it's going to eliminate from here. So that's probably what the hint would tell us. That's exactly what the hint's telling us. And now we have that formation here, but it's already eliminated there and there in the row. I'm seeing some interesting almosts. Oh, okay. So this would be my next step. Is this column? We only have two places left for a star. So there's going to be either a star here or there's going to be a star here. Wherever that ends up, this cannot be a star. I wonder if that's what it's going to say. It actually found something else. So let's look at what it found. So it's saying a star here breaks yellow. So let's find out why. Yeah, it just has to do with where it goes in green. So if we put a star here, then we have to put a star here in green. And now there's nowhere for a star in yellow, right? A star here eliminates that yellow. And then the star in green eliminates both of these yellows. So it's doing that. I really feel like it should have seen this column. But we'll follow the hints. I'm curious if I do this, will it still just give that hint? It still just gives that hint. But let's hold off on that. So we're going to eliminate from here. And that is going to use up this row. So it should tell us about this row. Yep. And then we have this row here. Okay. So we still have this elimination. Let's see if it finds it. It actually doesn't. I wonder if it's not programmed for that. It's a pretty simple deduction, so I'm curious why it wouldn't, but you never know what's been programmed and what hasn't. So it's saying something in the striped cell eliminates everything from gray. That's what it's saying. So a star here, definitely puts a star in orange there, which eliminates from there. Puts a star in red. Okay, so it's looking pretty far ahead here. But a star here definitely puts a star here. And so now gray needs a star right there. I would just place that. But what it's saying is that actually it also puts a star here in red, which then forces a star in yellow in one of these two, and that eliminates from there. So it just that's the contradiction it's seeing. I personally really don't like that deduction. But that's the kind of thing that the hint system is going to be telling you about. So we could do that, or we could just eliminate from here, because this would eliminate everywhere that we can put a star in this column. So now we can put a star there, and we can put a star there, and put a star there, and put a star there, star there, and star there, and we finish. All right. Well, I hope that was helpful. There are some hints that I've been told about, that I've seen screenshots of, that did not appear in this puzzle. So if you do run into one like that you're curious about, do let me know which puzzle it was and what state the grid was in, so I can reproduce that hint and help you out there. All right, and if you enjoyed this, why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.